All right, everyone. So welcome to part one of our September Success Series. And I'm so happy to welcome all of you. We're going to see about taking our businesses to the next level. For those of you who want to go to the Bahamas, maybe you'd like to earn leader pay, feel competent, feel accomplished. We want all of those things for you. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. And we're going to go straight over to a terrific document that we have. This is called the Sparkle Up program that the company has created for us. And we're calling it the September Success Series because for our purposes, that's really what we're trying to accomplish. You know, this is the beginning of the Bahamas incentive trip period. So we're all about using the month of September to build momentum into the holiday season. Sorry, I'm looking for my eyeglasses because apparently I'm old enough now that I need them to read my screen. So I'm going to be skipping over a couple of things because this particular training is often used in a much smaller setting where a lot of times we'll talk about each one of you, but I think we have 42 of you on the call, so I don't think we're going to be doing that. But what we're going to be doing is talking about what happens when you get to leadership. What does that look like? Because that's something that's a bit of a misnomer and it strikes fear in the hearts of a lot of people. But we're going to talk about that, how to manage your personal business for faster results. We're going to talk over the next few weeks about booking parties in all kinds of locations, how to sponsor, how to host as coach for great successful parties, and then how to partner with your leader to build your business. So there's a whole program overview, but I want to go ahead and dive in. In fact, I'll share the screenshot on the team pages tomorrow of the program overview so that we don't miss out on that, but we're not going to run through that. So there are lots of reasons that people want to take their business to a higher level. And it might be, it could be just increased confidence. It could be more friends, earning trips, making money, which is great, helping others to be successful, getting all the bonuses and the incentives, recognition at Glam Jam, leader pay, BMW. But I want this to be at the forefront of everything that we talk about. This is my favorite quote, and I'm so happy that the company put this in there because every time I speak from the stage, I use this quote. I think they finally got it. Zig Ziglar said, "You can have everything in life that you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want." And so the beautiful thing about our business is that when we help other people get what they want, we're going to get what we want as well. And that's exactly how we do it. So we're going to show you how to make more money. First out of the gate is how to make more money. And there are 4 ways to increase your income. Now, if you happen to have the printout, then you can actually go to participant worksheet number 2, and it's called 4 Pay Increases on Your Way to Leader. If you don't have it, just make some notes. So 4 ways to increase your income, but you didn't know this. The first one is that, we always earn 25% commission on everything that we sell. And, but the cool thing is that in any month, any one of you, any one of us can earn 30% with an $1,800 sales month. So $1,800, let's think about that. That's a little over 2 parties in a month. That's 2 nights out in a month to sell $1,800 and to earn 30% on that. So 30% commission on $1,800 is $540. Does that sound about right? I have to pull up my calculator. Let's see, 36, yeah, $5,400. If somebody catches me in bad math, be sure to tell me, okay? I don't mind. Because I didn't pull up my calculator. But that's a lot of money, ladies. I mean, that's the kind of money that, that we only dream about, right? To go out for a night, for an evening and earn that kind of money feels like you're using your time wisely. The second way to increase your income is in personal sponsoring bonus. And when you bring on your first team member and she sells $500 minimum, she becomes a PSAQ of yours. A PSAQ stands for PS, which is personally sponsored by you. Active means sold $1 within 3 months, in a rolling 3 months. Obviously, if she's selling $500, she's now active. And then qualified means that she sold $500 at some point within a single month. at least one time since they joined. So the really cool thing is that you're going to be earning 3% personal sponsoring bonus on your first PSAQ. So you're going to be making your income 25 or 30% commission, depending on your sales, and you'll earn 3% on whatever your first team member sells. The second way to the third way to increase your income is to get to Key Consultant 2, which means you've got another PSAQ. See the cute little smiling face. So now you've got 2 personally sponsored, active, and qualified consultants. And now instead of 3%, you're earning a total of 4% on both of them, okay? And you're earning your income as well. Then the fourth way to increase your income is by finding one more PSAQ, and that allows you to possibly go to group leader. Group leader means 3 PSAQs, $1,200 personal sales volume. PSV is $1,200 personal sales volume for you. So let's think about that. $1,200 is less than 2 parties in that month. Now we're just talking minimums here, right? But it's always good to know what the threshold is. Threshold is probably a better word for this. So the threshold is you got to sell $1,200, which is probably a little less than 2 parties. You and your team, which is called your central group, you plus they are called central group. You plus they sell $3,500, and $1,000 of that $3,500 has to come from your team. So what does that look like? $1,000 coming from your team, that's less than 2 parties coming from your team members. Now they have to be PSAQs, but they might not all sell something in that particular month, unless of course you sponsor them all in the same month, for example. And then we start fiddling with numbers at that point. But here's the really cool thing. When you meet these requirements, 1,200 of your own, 1,000 from them total, 3,500 combined, then you start earning 40% on your own sales and a total of 9% on their sales. Well, let's say they just sold $5,000 between the 3 of them. You've got another $450 in your pocket, just as an example. And let's say you sold $3,000 yourself. You now have $1,200 in income on your own sales, 40% rather than 25 or 30. Okay, so what is the central group? Central group is you, the group leader, and everyone that you and your PSAQ sponsor who are not leaders themselves, because every group leader has her own central group. So let's say, here's you. Look at you. You've got your PSAQs, so you're earning income on your sales, 40%. You're earning 9% on your PSAQs, but let's say one of them is really enterprising, and she gets all excited and brings on a team member, her best friend. The cool thing is that the paycheck doesn't stop at your PSAQs. When you are a group leader, you're now going to get paid 5% on all the indirect consultants that your PSAQs bring into your central group. And there's no limit. And I'll show you this in a minute. So as we said, the minimum monthly qualifications are $1,200 for you, 3 PSAQs, 1,000 in sales coming from your PSAQs or their team members, and a total of all of you in $3,500 in central group total sales. Okay, so this is the little cheat sheet that we were filling in. So let's go over this real fast. So we've got 30% commission in the first block. When you sell $1,800 or more, you get 30% commission. With your first team member, you've got 3% personal sponsoring bonus. With 2 team members, you've got a 4% personal sponsoring bonus. As a group leader, you're earning 40% on your personal sales volume, and you're earning 9% on your PSAQs. Okay, so let's talk about what does a leader make. Let's pretend for every $1,000 a consultant sells, she's making $250 in profit. So that consultant goes out that night, does a $1,000 party, earns $250. A leader goes out the same night, same identical party, does $1,000 in sales and earns $400 on the same party, just because she decided to invite other people onto her team. And this is where the Zig Ziglar thing comes into play. You can have everything you want in life when you help enough other people get what they want. And so this is where sponsoring comes into play. You build your team by offering the business to a lot of people because a lot of people need what we have. So what does a leader make? So let's see. Let's say that you are a key consultant 1 and your team member has sold $1,800. You have one team member because you're a key consultant 1 and you get 3% on her sales. You're earning $54 profit by helping her start her business. If you're a leader and you have that same person on your team and she has $1,800 in sales, you're going to earn 9% on what she's selling, which is $162 in profit. Does that make sense? So when you have one person on your team, here's what she sells, you're earning 3% on her. But when you're a leader and you have that same person on your team along with others, she sells $1,800, now you've got 3 times the profit on her. The key is, do you really want to leave money on the table? Okay, we're going to skip over this because this requires a lot of homework. But what I want to say is this is actually a document that's a part of the printouts. I would love for you to work through this with your upline leader if you want to understand how this works even more closely. But here's a really fun fact. So your central group can look just like this, you and 3 friends. Or, and of course you're earning your 9% on your PSAQs, but it could also look like this. You and all of your PSAQs that you bring on over time, all of their team members that they are bringing into the business. The cool thing is that you are earning 5% on all of these little blue people and 9% on all of the green people. And that's how you build a really great income. The cool thing is you've built it by helping other people get what they want in their own businesses. Okay, so I want to show you the big picture potential. These are based on 2018 annual incomes at each level. So we have different levels of leadership. The group leader is the first level that we were just talking about with 3 people on your team minimum. And the average group leader in 2018 nationwide earned $14,000. That's pretty nice. The top group leader earned $80,000. Senior group leader means that you have a group leader on your team. And the average senior group leader earned $22,000 last year. Director means that you have 2 group leaders. Remember, senior group leader means you have 1, because group leader is the building block of everything. Director means you have 2. The average director earned $39,000 last year. Let's jump up to key director. So senior is 1 group leader on her team, director is 2 group leaders on your team, key director is 4. Key director average income is $62,000. The high was well over $100,000. That's pretty sweet. Senior director is 6 group leaders on your team. Interestingly, you've got quite a jump here. Now you've got $100,000 income average. And this is where the BMW comes into play, because senior directors, as long as they own or lease a Mini Cooper or a BMW, they will get an extra $750 in their paycheck per month. That's senior director. And the average income senior director was $100,000 last year. Senior executive director is the top level. Senior executive director is 8 group leaders minimum, $100,000 in sales per month, and senior executive directors get $1,500 bonus per month toward that BMW. And the average income was $217,000. Now I've watched these numbers since the beginning, and man, these numbers keep going up. By the way, the high income earner was Amy Quinzer last year. She earned $438,000. Maybe somebody can do the math really fast and tell me how much that is per month. Is that about $35,000 per month? No, it's more than that. How much does she earn per month? Yeah, about probably $35,000 per month. Pretty great. Pretty amazing. So, and this is what I was talking about. 1 leader, 2 leaders, 4 leaders, 6 leaders, 8 leaders. And so again, it all goes back to Zig Ziglar. When you become a group leader, you start watching on your team who might want to do what I do. And then you bump up to senior group leader because you promoted out that leader and now she's making more money. Director, you're helping 2 women promote out and make more money. Key director, you're helping 4 women make more money, and so on and so on. So, something to think about. Decide whether you think that leadership sounds good to you. I would love for you to write down your why. Why would you want to be earning leadership income? What is it about that? And I want to flip over to this concept of getting to leader in 30 to 60 days. And honestly, it's all about doing parties. So this is where we're going to be landing for just the next couple of minutes. It's all about doing parties. So here's the cool thing. You can promote to group leaders statistically in 3 to 4 months by doing 1 party a week, sponsoring 1 person per month, basically working 4 hours per week when you go out and do your party, and probably, you squeeze in some odd moments for host coaching and party order entry and things like that. If you're holding 2 parties per week, sponsoring 2 per month, you end up working 8 to 10 hours per week, in my opinion, maybe a little bit more. But if you want to promote in 1 month, you're talking about sponsoring 3 people in a month, 3 parties per week, and you're going to see why these numbers, where these numbers play out. But the cool thing is that no matter what your ability is to do parties, you can see that there is a path to leadership for you. As long as you can pull off 1 party a week on average. Here's why. It's because when you're looking to go into leadership, into increasing that income, into going to the Bahamas, or earning any trip, it's all about the people that you meet. And we meet them at parties. We basically go do parties in order to staff our team. We go to parties to fish in a pond, to see who wants to join our team. And yes, of course, we book more parties at those parties. And yes, of course, we also sell a lot of beautiful jewelry. But the main reason that we go to parties is to find women who need what we have. Okay? All right. So here's what's interesting. There is a great methodology here. They call it Be Terrific. And this is kind of a new way of looking at it. But 2 parties per week times 2 bookings per party times 2 sponsors per month get somebody to group leader in 30 to 60 days. And statistically, it's pretty much true. So here's what happens. It's kind of interesting. So let's say in month 1, you do $6,000 in income, you've earned 30% commission, and you've got $1,800 in income just from your own sales. This is the month in which you kind of kick off this brand new adventure. And let's say in the process, because you met all those people, you probably met 50 or 60 people, right? Among those 50 or 60, you met 2 new team members, and you helped them each launch with a $750 party average for $1,500, and you earned $60 by helping them to start their businesses, because now you're earning 4% because you got 2. But let's say you keep it up, and the second month, you do 8 parties for a total of maybe $6,000 in sales. So again, you're reaching 50 people, something like that. But the cool thing is you've added 2 new PSAQs, 2 more launch parties, right? And the cool thing is that now you've got 4 PSAQs. You're earning 40% commission. So now that's $6,000 in sales turns into $2,400 in income. And now you're also earning 9% on your sales, on your team members' sales. So they've got $1,500 here from your new people. The ones from last month are maxing out the glam plan. They've sold $4,500 themselves on average, 9%. Suddenly you've got $405, $135 in income from those 2. and now you've got a lot more income because of you and 4 people. And so on and so on. The interesting thing is that when you keep adding the PSAQs, even though your own sales are not changing, you keep finding people and you keep adding new PSAQs, and your income keeps going up and up and up. And then suddenly, over 3 months, you've got $8,000 in income. And it's only based on a 750 national party average. We're not talking about off the charts sales. We're just simply talking about meeting enough people at enough parties. So this is kind of a funny thing. I think it's a little bit harsh to put this in here, but there are more than 2 options. But in reality, if I set a goal for myself, I can either make progress or I can make excuses. I'm really good at making excuses personally. I don't know about you, but I prefer to make progress, even if it's just a little bit every day. And so it's important to decide which we're willing to do. What am I willing to hold myself accountable for? So for those of you who love this idea, here are some ideas and some action steps for this week. The first one is to keep booking parties, of course. And if you're stuck, I want you to work with your leader and dig in, because I promise you, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing off about you. You can book parties, but you have to believe that you can if you work hard enough at it. The cool thing is that as you start booking parties, you're going to be booking parties from parties, and there's a lot less work involved in that. And then the goal is to hold 1 to 2 parties per week. Work on learning how to get 2 bookings from each party, and learn how, this is the most important part, learn how to come up with 3 sponsoring conversations per party, one way or another. And it might mean making 5 contacts a day for potential hosts and potential consultants. We'll teach you in the coming weeks about host coaching calls. We'll also teach you about these sponsoring conversations. I strongly, strongly recommend that if this has really caught your attention, that you spend some time with your upline leader and commit to doing a weekly check-in with her through this 4-week process. It's actually 5 weeks, I found out. But through this 4 or 5 week process, so that she can help you move forward faster. We don't want you to get stuck. We don't want you to say, oh, I gave it a try and I'm giving up, because you deserve better than that. And we want you to have a strong personal business to achieve all of these things. Okay, so I'm done with my portion of it. I'd love to hear what your ahas are, or your questions. And I'm sure there are questions about how the pay works. Maybe we should take questions first. You'll have to unmute yourself individually, I think. Okay, so if there aren't any questions, I'd love to hear what struck you. What was your biggest takeaway? It helps us all to hear what you're thinking.
Betsey,
Hi, Betsey.
I'm just shocked at the amount of opportunity, and I know that you yourself have been, well, I believe you've been with the company since the beginning, have you not?
Right.
Okay, so would you mind sharing with us how many people you have in your personal group?
Sure. I have, my organization probably has 1,300 or 1,400 people in it, and including at the moment 3 senior director, well, 2 senior executive directors and 1 senior director within our overall organization. You don't see them on the Star Thrower team page because they have their own pages. So there's Terri O'Neill, Lindsey Cavanaugh, Sean Assalone, but they all came out of our team. My income has hovered right around $200,000 the last 2 years. Crazy, right? I literally did this.
Very much.
Yeah, it really is crazy.
I did this. I have mostly run this off of my kitchen table until the last couple of years. I actually moved into the office here in my house.
And how many, and if you don't want to answer, that's fine, but truthfully, on average, how many parties do you do per month?
I have always done somewhere between 4 and 6. I am rarely an 8 party a month girl.
Wow.
Not what I'm good at. I am just not. But you know, kind of like the make progress, make excuses. I am determined that I'm getting in front of as many people as possible in whatever way I can.
Right, right.
So, if I can't get the parties that I want for the month, I make sure that I make up for it with fundraisers, which is essentially a party, because my goal is to get in front of people one way or another so that I can offer the business to people.
Exactly. That's been really useful for me, actually.
Good.
Betsey, so in the beginning, were you doing that many parties a month and working another job, or was this your business?
I was doing part-time ministry work, and I had 2 middle school kids, and now they're graduated college. So we had a lot going on. I may as well have had another job, but no. I was fortunate in that this was the thing. We have most of our leaders and up through key director, most of them have full-time jobs.
Okay.
I'm thinking of, for example, Liz Friedman and Carrie Hertland on our team both have full-time jobs and both key directors.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Betsey, are most of your parties repeat customers?
I'm so glad you asked that question. I work very hard to make sure that at least half of my parties are with new hostesses. I work really, really hard at that because I don't want to be selling to the same people all the time. I do sell to the same people at times, and there are groups that want me back, you know, every catalog or every other catalog or whatever.
Right.
But it's so important to get off into those new neighborhoods, those new towns, those new communities. Now, if you want to be strategic, if you are the only person in your area, you want to do parties within one concentric circle, because let's say you're the only consultant anywhere within 20 miles or 50 miles or whatever, because it's true of a lot of you. You want to develop your area as much as possible so that people start hearing about Touchstone Crystal from the gal at the PTO meeting who was wearing the necklace, the dental hygienist who was wearing the earrings, right? All within your town, because that's how you build a reputation for the business. You're having to do a lot of heavy lifting. It's not great to jump from town to town to town because it's all diluted. You want to make progress by doing, you know, coming up with a way of doing 10 parties in your town over the next couple of months. That's how you start to really get traction in an area. And consultants, you build an area that way.
Okay. Cool.
What else? So who has some ahas from tonight? I love what Susan said. There's a lot of opportunity. And we're still a small company, ladies. We paid out $20 million in commissions last year, but we are still a baby company. Baby company.
I think an aha for me, Betsey, is the exponential growth of your paycheck just with one person sponsored versus 2 people sponsored, and then up to sponsoring group leaders. Just the way that it's not just a small increase, it's a substantial increase in your income.
Yes. Yeah. And what's wonderful is that what I showed you is not guesswork. Those are solid numbers here. Who else? What other ahas are there?
Hi, Betsey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So this isn't from the training, but this is just from the questions and answers. I feel like that's a huge aha to think about working that local and kind of getting everyone knowing that you're around and expanding that. I think that's a huge aha for me.
Yeah. You know, it's not something that I've talked about with people very often, but recently this topic came up and it made me wonder, why am I not focusing on this enough? You know, when pretty much any part of the country is wide open, but we make the mistake of thinking, gosh, if I go to this town and do a party and that town and do a party and this third town and do a party, I'm covering ground. But in reality, I think we're sort of becoming one-hit wonders when we do that. I think it's better to, if it's possible, to keep those parties within a bit of a radius and do as many parties as you can within a radius and start building team members there. And then you go to another town and do the same thing.
Love that.
Unless you're doing 8 parties a month, in which case you can focus on a couple of areas at once, but you know, not most people don't do 8 parties. The ones who want to move really fast do 8 parties. That'll give you explosive growth. I know people who have done it. I've coached them and they've done amazing things. That doesn't fit with everybody's schedule. Who else?
Betsy?
Yes. Hey, Mary Jo.
Hi. My aha is just thinking, I've done direct sales before, and they have nowhere near the ability to profit from the business like we do.
Oh.
I don't remember them ever saying, well, this is how you could keep growing with your business and offering the money and the perks that we get. It's just an amazing company to work for.
Oh, that's so neat. That's neat. Thank you. I'm so glad you feel that way. I'm glad you see that. Nice.
Yeah, I think our ahas are the incentives that we get, and you just want more of what they offer us, and it keeps you going because it's like so close, so close. I know I can get it, you know. I mean, especially this month, September is crazy.
It is.
September is crazy. It's like I tell all my people, if you're going to jump on board, might as well do it now. It's not going to happen again. So I'm super excited about that.
And the slippers and the, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This is my 3rd direct sales company, and you guys are the best by far.
Aw, that's so great.
Seriously, I love the Zoom video because when I was with another direct sales company, I had to go and spend 2 hours. By the time I got home, it was like 9:30 at night. And I was not able to be with my family and be here and present with my family. And I could do that with the Zoom. I love it.
Good.
And so does my boyfriend. So it's great. It's great.
We want to keep him happy. That's good.
Right. And this is the first time he's wholeheartedly supported me in a direct sales company.
Oh, Tammy, I'm so glad.
So, yeah. And he's like one of my biggest critics. So, yeah.
Great.
So he's very skeptical and he believes in you guys. So
Great.
Awesome. I'm very excited to be on the team.
Oh, so glad, Tammy. That's great.
Yeah. And Lisa and Lindsey have been great. I just want to do a shout out to them. They're amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
That's wonderful.
So,
Seriously, your upline leaders are tremendous.
Yeah, they are. Great.
Good. Good. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate it. Who else had an aha?
Hey, Betsy, it's Rhonda.
Rhonda?
How are you?
Hi.
I don't think a lot of it's aha.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have personally one, like we've seen it, but it kind of clicks what you said about make progress or make excuses, because I've just been talking about that this past week. Like it's my own fault because I make my excuses why I don't. And so that brings me to the next thing when I was reading all the documents of making the 5 contacts a day. And I'm not doing that. So that's something that's my aha. Like the other one, it's like, okay, she's in tuned with my psyche this week. But, so, because I make the excuse, I know I do. But make the 5 contacts a day, I think that's something that I need to do a little bit more diligently.
Mm-hmm. It can't hurt. It'll only help.
No.
Right. It's all about making progress. That's all it is. There's nothing
Exactly.
perfect. There's no one perfect system. There's no one perfect way to get there. We're all going to have a different path. How we get there, but making progress in reaching out to people is the best thing that you can do.
Mhm.
Ever. Raina, you look like you were about to say something. Was I right?
Yes, you were right. So, I guess my aha was basically where just by adding one or two people, but you still doing your same effort, how much different that was, just to kind of see the numbers just up front.
Huh.
But yeah, as we've spoken about, that's the one part that I want to try to work on most is the parties, and then booking the parties from parties and just getting more access to more people.
Nice. That's great. In the middle of planning your wedding, which is in 31 days?
33 days.
33 days.
October 12th. It's
Oh
coming
my
up soon.
It's going to be so good. That's awesome.
Thanks.
I love it. You know what? One thing that I have really come to appreciate about you, Raina, is that despite the fact that you have this amazing event going on in your life, you are determined that that is not a quote excuse to keep you from reaching your goals and working towards your goals. Because anybody else could say, well, I'm really busy, I'm planning my wedding, and we would all say, totally get it. But you see it differently, which is yes, I'm getting married, but I still have goals, right? And they're all going to impact what my life is like after I'm married. So I really admire you in that. Congratulations to you.
And thank you for the company, because that's what drew me to Touchstone. I was looking for jewelry for my bridesmaids. I was spending countless hours up at night looking around. Nothing really grabs me. And I had gone to a Touchstone party 2 years prior, but my first Touchstone party, I had just gotten laid off. So I wasn't really, and I still spent $200.
Oh my God.
But so I started looking at jewelry, and actually my fiance helped me pick out the earrings for the bridesmaids I would just keep ordering things, and I'm like, okay, what about these, or what about these? So Touchstone has been basically through the last 6 months of my wedding journey. So I've been very thankful and fortunate for that.
That's exciting. Yeah. Well, I love that we could be a part of that. That's really neat. Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who else? Let's take one last one.
This is Susan. I'm sorry. I had an aha moment, not from tonight necessarily, but from our leader retreat this past weekend.
Yes.
And Lindsey and Terri did a fantastic job. It was such an awesome time, and we cannot wait to get together again.
Good.
Excellent on so many levels, just so many levels. But one of the things that was mentioned that at the retreat was that I think 90% of the women in the business who are successful actually are employed full time.
Yeah.
And that successful people breed success. So while we tend to shy away from women who are busy, they're too busy, they don't have time, those are actually probably the best prospects, because busy women are going to make the time if they see an opportunity. And I mean, I'm an example of that. I don't have the extra time. Every woman at that leader retreat, same boat, too busy, but making the time. So I took, that was a great takeaway for me, because I'm definitely going to hone in on the successful women, people, men, and I've reached out to a couple of those as well in my life to present the opportunity.
Oh, I love it. That's great. You're really catching on to some higher level thinking there. That's terrific. And I'm so glad you all had fun this weekend. That was great.
It was so much fun.
Good.
Awesome. They did a great job.
Oh, I am so sure. They are brilliant leaders. Really wonderful.
And nice women.
It's hearts of gold. We only take the best, right? All of you. Anything else? One last one before we sign off for tonight.
Hi, Betsy. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Roseanne, yes.
I'm sorry. I'm driving, but I'm being careful. Okay, so I've had many aha moments in my last 3 years with the company. One of them, I'll echo what Raina said about pretty much I just love that they don't, no matter what level you get to, they don't personally ask you for any more. And, you know, I just think, you know, where else does that happen? Like, I haven't seen another company like that, or even, you know, not in the direct sales, you know, field. You know, you're asked to keep producing more and more sales, and the threshold gets higher and higher. But with us, if they, you know, if you look at the chart, it stays the same after leader. And I've always loved that, you know, that I'm not going to be thrown a, you know, a loop, like thrown a, whatever it's called, like a, somewhere that I'm going to be like all surprised and I have to be, you know, going crazy or doing so much more. So that, and also a big aha moment was for me that when at my first party, so when our product was, you know, selling itself, I was just like, holy cow, I don't have to sell this. They all want it. They all want it. They want more than what they might be able to purchase. And as long as, so then this happened again at the next party and the next party. And I was just like, jackpot, fabulous. You know, this, you know, which is what I anticipated because, you know, it's a Swarovski, right? So, but I just loved that. It was just a real aha moment for me that as long as I get the wheels turning and I make that party night happen, and I, you know, cross my T's and dot my I's, once I get there, it's a success. Like it's not, you know, it's so much easier than having a product, representing a product that you have to sell, that you have to get them to try, or, you know, that's just a lot more effort than I could do, you know? So that for me was, amazing.
That's a really good point. And, you know, Roseanne, and you gave me a great point to close on, which is that no matter how large your team gets, your personal sales and your personal number of parties stays the same. It's always going to be 4 to 6. And if you want to, 8 or more, it's up to you. But what changes is the number of people on your team. And that it goes all the way back around to Zig Ziglar. You can have everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. It becomes all about the team building and helping other women get what they want. So let me close with that. I want to say thank you all so much for being on. Next week, we're going to be talking about some of the simple methodologies for making sure that we get that calendar full. And I hope you'll join with me again. You know, this is the higher level stuff here. This is for those who want to go faster and farther. And I really hope that that includes you. I really do, because there's something that we cannot describe about that sense of confidence, success, that this kind of a business can give you. I'm living proof of that. And I just want all of you to experience what it feels like. And I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about the ability to change other women's lives. It's really such a gift to me to be able to impact other women. And I want you to be able to experience that too. So have a great night. And I can't wait to see you next week. Same bat time, same bat station. Thanks again, everybody. Take care.